We welcome you back to Vicksburg High. Glad you can join us here on the Friday. The Gators coming off a big win last week in Terry, and now it's homecoming as Yazoo comes to town. Charles Edmond, Coach Chris Lacey. Coach, congratulations on the win. Man, these are hard stoppers. I have to stop by the clinic because it runs your blood pressure up. It gets your heart racing. I don't know what else to say, but when you get the win, it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, you can't argue with a W, but I would like them not to be situations that sending people to the hospital and have people blood pumping and racing. But I mean, it just showed the resiliency of the kids and just the way they practice. So we practice on Wednesdays coming from behind, and it's been shown.
Wow. So Wednesdays is kind of that day in which you put them up against the wall and say, hey, fight out of it.
They
And they've done that.
They do it all Wednesday. We did it all summer. That was kind of like a thing that kind of killed us last year in big games was playing from behind. So I think they seasoned enough to be able to do it. I got the confidence in them, man, to trust that if we ever get put in tough situations, we can get out of them.
But the poise that you play with when you're down two scores, back-to-back weeks on the road, Natchez and Terry, two tough places to play and win, and to be down two scores on the road with the fans and you're down, it's almost like you're down three scores.
Well, like I said, you try to simulate that situation as much as you can in practice with the noise, with sometimes the band to come down to the field and practice in the stadium while we're practicing. So they've been through all those different variables of, the concentration and the composure and things of that nature that has helped us out. So, like I said, it's all in the preparation.
And for the second game in a row, Blackmore stepped up with the game-winning score.
Yeah, he run mad. He run like he like somebody beat him up in the alley or something. He trying to get some payback. So that's good. He been preparing. He worked hard this off season. He motivated by the running back room, and it was his opportunity. We talk about it all the time. This might be your night, and he stepped up. He funny thing, like I say, we played Natchez. I started throwing the ball to Henderson. And Blackmore walked up to me coming out the field and said, "Coach, you're getting too cute. Give me the ball." So he ended up giving him the ball. He took care of business.
Well, I tell you what, I saw him in the grocery store last year one day, and when he was down, obviously he was out for the year, and he said, "Don't worry about it." He said, "I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back better than ever." And man, he is running with a purpose.
Oh, he's an adult now. He NFL running back running type of guy. I mean, I got all the confidence in the world in him. He protect the football. He don't put the football on the ground. He blocks well. He talks. He's actually kicking field goals for us and doing kickoffs. So he does a lot for. He ain't gonna play some linebacker sometimes. So he contributes a lot of different ways within the game.
Offensively, I was impressed. 99-yard drive.
Yeah, we look all this in the preparation. We practice the same thing. We practice with our back against the wall. We practice midfield. You practice red zone. You do all these different situations that you'll get in the football game, and you try to put them in those situations. So when they get out there, they're pretty comfortable with it. So and then running for your starter. He's comfortable now. He threw a couple interceptions I think Friday, but he learned from them and hopefully do better this week.
To me, it seemed like a lot of different offensive wrinkles. You spread it out, empty set, jet sweeps to Corey Knight Henderson, getting a lot of your playmakers involved.
Well, a lot of it is, like I say, we spoke before about doing what the kids can do and putting them in position to be successful. In certain formations, certain calls, certain plays are designed for certain kids in certain spots for them to maximize themselves on the field. And like I said, it's been pretty balanced. We've done a pretty good job of doing it. I did the numbers, and we're about 50-50 on both sides of the ball. So that's working out for us.
And then defensively, I mean, what the light bulb kind of goes off like, all right, it's time. It's time to shut this thing down. In the last 2 weeks, Natchez as well as Terry last week, when the defense shuts it down, when they get their minds right to shut it down, they shut it down.
When you got nine new starters on defense, it's a gradual thing. It's a build up. So I think they've gotten better from Laurel up until now, as far as like the whole totality of the defense. In the first game, we missed 43 tackles. We hadn't done that again. Like Terry, we missed 15. So that number's being cut down a lot. I think we played a pretty good game defensively. it's some leaders starting to emerge in the group, and I'm just excited to see them continue to go throughout the season.
You got to have the leadership aspect. And so just to talk about that, especially these last couple of weeks when you've been down, someone has to step up and say, hey, let's get this thing done. So how has that evolved, the leadership aspect?
Well, I think guys like DeMarcus Johnson and Tyler Carter starting to take control of the group and become leaders. Like I told DeMarcus, being a leader has nothing to do with um, just running your mouth all the time. Cursing people out or telling them what to do and things. Good leaders inspire people to do better. And like I was telling him, you do that with your play. And when you start to perform, everybody else got to follow suit with you. So in that fourth quarter, I think he came up with two big tackles in the backfield, tackles for loss, that ended up helping us out and just start sparking the defense. So he's done a great job of doing it, and Tyler has too.
Last week, it was a game in which you dealt with a big quarterback and you talked about it, and then he was injured or whatever, and it was totally a different offense for that team. You're able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I felt like in the whole game, they kind of wasn't used to the scheme that we threw on them. They saw a lot of zone coverage and things like that throughout the week. But in Vicksburg, we're gonna play man. We're gonna put guys in front of people. We're gonna lock up. We're gonna play man-to-man defense. And I don't think he was used to the looks, and we kind of confused him a little bit with the fronts and some twists and stuff. And we ended up getting some good hits on him, which affect the quarterback. And I mean, I hated that the kid gets hurt, but it ended up helping us out in the long run. So he was a challenge though. I'm not gonna lie. It was a different offense than I've seen in the past 3 years. So it was fun to prepare for him.
What made Terry's offense so different?
One, his ability. He's left-handed. First of all, I don't know if people ever dealt with left-handed quarterbacks, but just a different look. From the symmetry of it, the math of it, dealing with a left-handed quarterback. Just depending on how the ball comes off his hand. Him being so big, the RPOs that they ran. A lot of teams say they're running RPOs, but they're not running true RPOs. This team was running true read RPOs. So that was a challenge in itself, but the kids responded to it well.
It was a hostile environment. I mean, in Terry. I mean, for sure. We were sitting above the press box, and at halftime came down, and the place was packed. The
Yeah,
Homestead. I mean, that was a very boisterous crowd, and I didn't realize the home side was packed from end to end.
I expected the crowd. I mean, one thing I've seen since I've been in Vicksburg is, regardless of what our record is, when Vicksburg show up, people want to be Vicksburg. I don't know what it is. I joke with the coaches on the staff. I ask them, I say, what did y'all do to these people back in the day to where every time we show up, they want to give us their best. And it's just an expectation of what's going to happen. I tell the kids, I expect the same thing from Yazoo Friday. I expect them to come and give us the best that they have. You're going to get it every week. So it was fun to see all them people up there in the stands, and it was fun to beat them.
What did you tell your team after the game last week?
When I address them, I always start from the back to the front. So I always tell them, we made too many mistakes. This shouldn't have been a game where we was in a dog fight like this. We talented enough to, you know, get up on people if we going full throttle. I believe we the best team in 6A when we play Vicksburg football the way we supposed to, and we can't wait until the fourth quarter to show that. And then proud of it, you got to win. Can't argue with that. And let's just try to clean the mistakes up and get ready for Yazoo.
There was a couple of calls in the game that that were head scratchers for us in the booth, and I know they were head scratchers for you on the field. Talk about that, the explanations you were given, because we were pretty confused.
Referees, they come up with things. You see it one way, and they say they see it one way. I learned. You ever watch my demeanor on the field at times? If I'm having a conversation with a ref, if he tell me something that's over the top, I'm just like, yes, sir. And then I just go on about my business. I done already told the kids, the habit with some of them is that we've we've experienced certain calls not go our way in the past couple of years. I just call them Vicksburg calls. So, we get the Vicksburg calls, we just have to respond. So one thing I've done is I started implementing Vicksburg calls in practice. So successful play happens, I might throw a random flag and tell them holding so they can get used to it not going our way, and then they just have to respond to it. And that's what they've been doing. We practice. We call it Vicksburg calls. We just do it in practice. So
What was the explanation on the sideline down there? Because we clearly,
on the kickoff,
yeah.
they said that the guy's foot went out of bounds. They said our guy's foot was out of bounds. The guy that recovered the ball, they said he was out of bounds. I didn't see it, but I mean, I just looked at it like, okay, we don't got it, but their back is against the wall now because it's on their side of the 20, so let's just play ball.
Yeah.
And that's how the kids responded. Like I say, most time referee make a call, you can't argue with them. You know, I look at it like it's just a human eye thing, so we don't have like instant replay or nothing like that. I wouldn't like to think that any refs were, doing anything crazy, anything like that. So when you're just dealing with human error, you just have to take it. You know, it's an eyeball thing and just play through it.
But typically on the road, it's hard to get
Yeah.
those 50-50 calls. Usually the road team doesn't get those.
Right, they don't, and I mean, we just prepare for it. You know, we used to cry about it a lot, but you can't cry about it now. You just have to respond to it and go out there and play, get the ball back, and that's what our kids did. I mean, it lit a fire under them to see that it goes that way, and I appreciate that about them that they respond that way, and that's what you want to see.
I clearly did see the intensity.
Yeah,
It seems like coming out though, you want to start fast.
Yes.
What's the key to getting off to a fast start?
Just eliminating the mistakes. I maybe practicing it more where, maybe it's a tempo thing, maybe it's just trying to figure out what it is with our kids. Like every team's different, and every team, has that thing about them that spark them. Maybe it's just finding something to tick them off at the beginning of the game. I don't know, but we're still trying to figure ourselves out in certain aspects of the game. We started picking up some places, but it's still an identity thing that I think we're still working through.
What are the couple of things with the identity that you're trying to work through?
Who's the spark plug? You might have a player who's a spark plug who needs to get the ball earlier to get us off. Who's more comfortable? Maybe it's getting the ball out quicker to certain people. Maybe it's creating explosives. Maybe it's stunning a little different. Something that'll trigger them to have that toughness and that mental toughness and mental focus to continue to do. Because, I mean, we moving the ball well. Getting down the field, it's just certain spots we get in, we kind of lose it. So just going back, evaluating the film and figuring out what we need to do to start faster.
You talked about the running game. Almost back-to-back 100-yard games for Blackmore. He had 286 yards rushing. But then Malik Montgomery got some touches. What's his status? He's going to integrate him a little bit more. You just happy with the balance that you got back?
Yeah, he's still practicing. He's showing toughness. He's doing what it is that he has to do. But I don't want him to rush it because we got enough backs to take care of, the run game until he comes back fully healthy. And I mean, his senior year, I know you want to be out there, but his health is more important to me than anything. I'm not thinking about September. I'm thinking about October, late October, going into November where we getting them playoffs, and I need him big time. So that's the thing. Just trying to get him healthy. We let him carry the ball a couple times Friday, and then it was like, hey, bro, come out. You did your thing, and we'll let Blackmore take us home.
Well, let's look at tonight's game, Coach. Yazoo City, the Indians of Yazoo City, Humphreys County, Greenwood, Yazoo City, and they lost to Winfield 30-20. So this team's 0-4. What scares you about this game?
What scares me about it is on defense, we're giving up 20 points a game, and Yazoo's averaging 20 points a game. So I look at that number and say to myself, if we're giving up 20 and they're averaging 20, then we could be put in a situation where, we got a dogfight again. So our job is to limit those numbers. I'm going to look at the statistics that way. If we start slow, anybody could beat you. I tell the kids at the end of the day, I don't care who you're playing. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you lose a football game. I mean, even from the aspect of, Yazoo got some good players. I mean, they got about 3 guys I know who are legitimate Division I football players. Wide receiver number 3. They got big old offensive line. So they got guys that can run and play. They remind me of Natchez again, where they're going to have those athletes, and if their athletes out-athlete you, then you lose a football game. So the focus is not letting people tell them externally that you playing an 0-4 team, because you'll turn 1-4. Next week they go into a 1-4. So I want to make sure our focus is on point and we go out there and we play a good football game.
Of course, this is homecoming week. So what is Chris Lacey's philosophy when it comes to preparing for homecoming? Your coaches say homecoming is for the students, homecoming is for alums, and for people in the community. But when it comes to football, homecoming is not for football players because you got to get ready for a game. What's your speech on that when it comes to homecoming?
Well, my idea is totally the reverse. I mean, it's a homecoming game. My thing is what other sport do we have homecoming for? We have it for football. So all of these people are coming to enjoy a football game. Yes, it's for the student body, but it's for the whole school. And then you want the kids to be able to enjoy their high school experience. I don't remember every play that I ever had in high school, but I do remember homecoming week. I do remember meeting older players, meeting alumni, meeting people. I might remember one or two plays from a game, but I remember the experiences I had over anything. So I want my guys to enjoy the parade. I want them to enjoy homecoming queen. I want them to enjoy the band. But then you also got to keep their focus in. It's my job for them to be able to keep their focus, but go enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. But we're not gonna treat you like you're in prison or anything like that. Like, no, this is high school. Enjoy it to the fullest.
So how has the week been?
Oh, they done good. Had 100% attendance in practice. They ain't been getting too caught up in some of the stuff that's been going on. Some of them participate, some of them don't. But they won a championship and they focus on it, and they're gonna do what they need to do to do it. So I'm very proud of them. Sometimes if you take stuff away, it makes a kid feel like you ain't got no trust in them, and they'll start acting out that way. I give them the platform to go and have fun, and they don't want it. So, they responded to it that way. So, what I know about these boys is they ready to go play football. They know it's in front of them, and they ready to handle business.
One thing I do notice on social media is that a lot of the schools in different places, some of the football players are part of the homecoming court and all that
Yeah.
stuff. That's something I didn't really see that 10 years ago, but you're seeing more of that now where football players are more participatory in those type of things.
You either adapt or you die. So, I mean, if everybody else is doing it, then we need to look into it and try to learn from them and adapt to what's going on. If one of my kids came up and was like, "Coach, I want to be a part of the homecoming quarter," I probably would let him do it if that's an experience that that particular kid wants to have. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And trust me, we got enough kids. Well, I go out there and win a football game if somebody's not there or not. I sat 20 kids already this year, and we won a football game. So I know we don't have a talent issue in Vicksburg. It's just keeping that focus on point. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, but considering that, do you think your players now have the message sent? You won 3 in a row. Now you're looking for 4.
Oh yeah, most definitely. They know what's going on. They understand it was a learning process for everybody, and they locked in. They've taken my seniors have taken more of a leadership role in what's going on, so it's helping us all.
Coach, we appreciate it. Let's get our 4th in a row.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll take this break. We'll be back with the kickoff after this timeout.